Hello everyone, how are you today? Trust you're doing well in this lockdown. My name is Dupe Makinde, the director of Positive Futures Group Charity. We're based in London and we've been operating since 2004. We run seminars, forums for young people to give them social and educational opportunities. We also have a presence in Africa where we give young people from disadvantaged homes an equal chance to education and personal development. Today, I'm here to talk briefly about how parents can safeguard their children online. Safeguard means to protect, to put measures in place, and to make sure that to sort of defend them against the dangers that are online. As a result of the COVID-19 crisis, a lot of young people are spending more time at home, schools are shut, and they are even having more interaction even for schoolwork online. So the three main things I'm going to touch on is why are they going online? The dangers that exist online, how can parents safeguard their children online? So why do we need to safeguard our children? It's mainly because of child abuse. By definition, child abuse is any action by another person, it could be an adult or another child, that causes significant harm to a child. It can be physical, that means violence causing injury. It could be sexual, when somebody uses their power of control to involve a child in sexual activity. It could be emotional, that is persistent or severe emotional ill treatment of a child that is likely to cause serious harm to their development. It could be neglect as well, which is failing to meet a child's physical, psychological, and emotional needs. So it's mainly because of child abuse. As a parent, you're not going to leave your door open and allow things to come in to harm your child. And the internet is like a way of entry into your home as well. A lot of time, our children can connect with people through videos, and even people can see them without even have to see them physically. So first of all, why did they go online? Number one, our children go online even before the lockdown to connect with their friends, using social media websites like Instagram, like Snapchat. They chat with others even using video calls. House party is one of them. Sharing images and videos and even making images for fun, videos for fun. TikTok is one of them. A lot of time as well, they're searching for information, especially where the education now is online before the school resumes. So that is even before the lockdown. When you look at statistics, a lot of our young people, they spend a lot of time online. So now, because of the lockdown, they're spending increased amount of time online. So number one, what are the dangers that exist online? Number one is cyberbullying. This is the bullying that takes place online on social networks. It can be very damaging to a child's health, and I'm sure you've heard of young people or children sort of taking their own lives because they've been bullied, especially online, because when it's online, it goes to so many people. And one of the examples of cyberbullying is somebody posting a child's picture and beginning to write sort of horrible things about them, and other people will join. Before you know it, that child's picture is all over, it's seen by sort of thousands or even millions of people. So it can really be distressing to a child. It's important that parents, that we sort of talk to our children and sort of talk to them about if they ever experience bullying, even if it's online. Number two is exposure to pornography and other inappropriate content. Pornography is as addictive as any drug. We always talk to young people about the dangers of drugs and the effects of it on their body. Addiction causes low self-confidence. It creates an empty feeling and general uselessness as well. So pornography exposure contributes as well to sexual aggression in some users. So you see some people that they've so much consumed a lot of porn content and they go out to act it in a very aggressive way. It also negatively affects healthy development and relationship, creating a distorted or twisted view of the opposite gender. And this is even based on statistics, for example, from NSPCC, which is the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, which is a charity that is based here in the UK. It says that 28% of 11 to 18-year-olds feel that pornography has changed the way they think about relationships. So the more young people, the more they're exposed to pornography, the more they will have a distorted view of the opposite gender. In Childline, which is a sort of like a counseling line for young people, in 2012/13, they counseled 475 children who had been exposed to pornography. So it sort of affected those children. According to BBC Newsbeat survey, around half of 15 to 17-year-olds have accessed pornography on their smartphone or internet, and they've linked the rise in accessing pornography to smartphone. And a lot of time, a lot of our young people have access. They do have pornography. Sorry, they have smartphone, which sort of increase the chances of accessing pornography. So to be honest, there's so many statistics that sort of shows the damaging impact of pornography on young people. Number 3 danger is befriending or communicating with people they don't know. That is one danger they're exposed to. So there's a higher percentage of children sort of befriending the people that they don't know. And there's a risk because the internet makes it easy for people to hide their identity. So even people that want to harm a child will sort of hide their identity because they want to groom the children, leading me to the 4th danger, which is grooming and sexual abuse. Grooming happens when somebody builds a connection with a young person in order to sexually abuse them. So their main aim is to sexually abuse that child, but they groom them. They sort of build a connection with them. A lot of time, the grooming starts online and it's taken offline as well. So, so that's what young people are exposed to online. Sexual exploitation is the 5th one. Is when children and young people receive something. It could be food, it could be clothes, it could be gifts or money or drugs in exchange as a result of performing sexual activities on the other person. It can occur through the internet, and I think because of the apps that we have, people can see each other on WhatsApp. There's so many video apps, so it does happen through the internet a lot. And most victims don't come forward because of fear and the pain of the ordeal. Barnabas is a charity that works with children who have been sexually exploited. And according to their statistics, in 2013, which was a long time ago, so imagine what the figure is now, they worked with nearly 2,000 children who had been sexually exploited. And younger victims are actually being targeted now. They also say that perpetrators now use the internet to protect their identity. So, as our young people being exposed to people that they know, and some of them are befriending people that they don't know online. So we've spoken about this danger. Coming to keeping your child safe, that's my aim. How can you as a parent keep your child safe from those dangers? Find out what your child what they're using the internet for and how they're using it. And I think it's important that you make your child recognize that you want to find out because you want to keep them safe. So have a good chat with them about the dangers that are out there according to their level. But they must know that it's not just about, mommy doesn't, or daddy doesn't want me to use the internet. It's because you explain to them, and the measures you put in place, you explain why you have this measure in place. And I think as a parent as well, we need to take an active interest in what they're doing. Install parental controls. I think you should not even use an internet service provider that do not allow you or give you parental controls. So, and parental controls include filtering, restricting access to particular site, time limits, how you can restrict the amount of time your child can be online, especially for for very young children. It can help you to monitor the sites that they're accessing. So if you're sure why are they on this site, you can ask them. Remember, it's all about developing that dialogue with your child. So it's not just about you're trying to control me. No, it's like you're trying to keep them safe. You need to sort of have conversation starters with your child, explore sites and apps together. Ask your child if they know how to stay safe. Ask them, if somebody contacts you that you don't know, ask them, do you know what to do? Would you talk to them? This is why you should not talk to them. How do you find out if somebody is who they really are? Create a family agreement. I think it's so important for you to start early. My children are they're like young adults now, 22 and 17. And I remember I started early with my children, encouraging them of the danger, telling them about the dangers online. If your child is on social media, encourage them to set the settings to privacy. Even me as an adult, my settings is in privacy on my social media website. On TV, you can set controls, you can put PIN numbers on certain films that are over 18. even on games as well. Mobile phones provider, most of parents do pay for their child's mobile phone. You can ask them to switch on the parental control. When your child is 18, they can ask them to switch it off. Google as well. So even because a lot of our young people, they sort of use Google as a search engine, there's a family safety tools in Google as well. So there's so many things that we can do as parents, but it's just we need to be aware of the dangers. So in summary, I'm just here to talk about one of the impacts of COVID-19 crisis is the lockdown we're in, and a lot of our young people are having to spend time online. There are lots of dangers online that parents we need to be aware of. We need to talk to our children about it. There's cyberbullying, there's access to pornography, there's sexual grooming, befriending those people that they don't know, people that actually hide their identity in order to build a connection with a child, in order to groom them or to sexually exploit them. And the main thing as a parent is we have a responsibility to safeguard our children, to put measures in place, just like you will not leave your door open without making sure just so that anybody can access your home and access to your children. There's so many softwares in place that internet service providers, they do supply, even is a default on most internet. How you can filter the sites that your child is accessing, how you can monitor. It's not about monitoring them, it's about keeping them safe. It's important that you have a chat with your child about the dangers out there and what to do if they're contacted by strangers online as well. We as a charity, we work with young people, and we've been working very hard throughout since the lockdown to put out content that will be useful to young people and parents, and this is just one of them. And we're going to do more online sessions on to give young people skills that will develop their abilities as well, which we will do very soon. So look out for that. Our website is positivefuturesgroup.org. That's positivefuturesgroup.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're on Twitter as well. And I'm Dupe Makinde. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I hope it's been useful. Please share with those who might find it very useful as well. You can connect with us at info@positivefuturesgroup.org. That's info@positivefuturesgroup.org, so you can be on our mailing list and watch out for all our coming programs for young people. Take care until next time. Bye.